with, what's going on in the market right now. There's what's happening with the volatility, and any type of active asset class like bridge lending, construction, agency, CMBS, distressed debt. It's been great to show how Real Insight fits some of those areas. Just as a reminder, Real Insight is a web-based life of the loan asset management technology that handles every debt structure, every asset class, every commercial real estate property type, taking you from origination to underwriting, to asset management, to surveillance, to special servicing, to default management and disposition, all while including the ability to integrate any type of accounting system you have, any type of primary servicing or cash management. And all of this is across both private debt and securitized CRE products, which is very important. As we jump into this, I think it's always important to note, why do companies even decide to use Real Insight on top of these great webinars? They may have data in many places. They may have many systems, no centralization. Management or, the team has to log into so many different places to access information. Firms can use, look at and choose to use something like Real Insight because they're stuck managing their entire business in Excel. They may have a lack of standardization. There might be a lack of standardization in both reporting and workflow and process. And as they choose to manage their current portfolio or scale their portfolio and do it while staying efficiently and accurately, it's important to have technology, right? It's important to have a technology like Real Insight. They use Real Insight for speed, and they use Real Insight because maybe management at some of these firms are trying to get answers to questions about risk or questions about exposure that take too long or just very difficult to get those answers, right? And everyone knows that implementing and onboarding technology can feel very daunting. Technology companies, they don't always explain what's going on. So technology companies, maybe won't go through an onboarding process. Maybe they won't explain how something gets implemented. Maybe they won't say how long it takes. They'll just say it's magic. It takes a week. We want to be upfront and show how we partner with our clients. And together we partner with them so that they can achieve their goals. Obviously, we try to understand their goals. We understand their goals. We help them achieve their goals. So, I just wanted to say that we understand, everybody on the phone, we understand that your business is complicated and, it's important to be able to manage your business with technology. We also understand that a lot of these initiatives fail, and we have been, Real Insight has been successful working with clients like KKR and Capital One and Apollo and Argentic and Lone Core Capital and Fortress and Arbor and Related and of course CW Capital. And we know it's the technology they love, but we really feel like our secret weapon, our secret sauce is our people and our processes. And we think we've seen and we've received feedback that is how, companies are achieving their goals. And that's what we really want to talk about today. So, with all of that, the Real Insight team, it's based in Dallas, based in New York, based in Washington, D.C. You have a large staff of, 50 people, experts across technology, product, data, various different important disciplines to make technology run efficiently and help our clients. What I want to do right now is I want to introduce the client success team because that's what this is all about. I want to introduce Walt Brown, who is the head of business transformation and content management. I want to introduce Jordan Gregory, who is our head of data services and data integrations. I want to introduce Elias Santos, who is the head of client training, workflow, and database configuration. And I also want to introduce Dylan Wall and let Dylan kick it off. Dylan is a senior lead client project manager for, a number of our clients. And I think he's a great way to start off this process, talk to you about how we, understand our clients, help them achieve their goals. And Dylan, I would like to kick it to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to explain to you a little bit more about our process. And to kick off what Dan was talking about, everyone should be able to see, if you're logged into the Teams meeting, the screen right now. It's a geographic map of Florida, mapped out using FEMA data to locate properties affected by recent hurricanes. And the beauty of this screen, which we really like to showcase overall, is there's so many components that underlie this figure that are required by most clients to have a successful product. Meaning what you'll see here requires good data, which Jordan will get into, how you get data into RealINSIGHT, how you map it out using workbenches and other features in terms of geocodes, how you can create reports and analytics and all of these extra features on top of it, which Walt will get into. But one of the big fears that most clients have when they're transitioning to a new technology is, okay, we signed the papers, we're in, we're ready, we're excited. How is this going to get done? We have workflows, we have processes, we have models, we have our own internal data that we've been tracking for years, and we're expecting to transition to a new technology. How do we make sure that everything is smoothly transitioned? How do we make sure that nothing is missing? And how do we make sure that what we're paying for is something that's actually helping me at the end of the day? And that's where our client success managers come in, including myself. So from day one, we will engage directly with the new client, and our job is to become experts on your workflow. So that's understanding where your data is coming from. That's understanding certain workflows that you'd like to improve upon, if that's communication internally, communication with your data providers, communication with third parties. If you need additional reports or modeling that you've created that's such a pain to create on a daily basis, and you want automated, that's where we come in, learn your workflow, learn your process, and use RealINSIGHT as a tool to help improve your every day-to-day activities. And the beauty of that also is there's a very human element to it. So it's not that you're going to sign up one day, we're going to get your data in, as Dan mentioned, in the background without saying anything, and we're just going to say green light, go into the system and start playing. That's not how it works at all. We have a very standard process of getting a client implemented. We have numerous training modules that we put new clients on so they can become experts on using the system themselves. And even pre-implementation, post-implementation, you will always have the client success managers at your disposal. If you ever have a question, if you ever have a concern, if you ever want a new thing done in the system that you haven't done before, you have a group of specialists, with each of us having our own line of business that we excel in, to come in and help you execute that. And as Dan kind of mentioned with his introductions, in order to get that happen through implementation, we go through a step-by-step process. In this presentation, we're going to take you through our standard process. We understand each client is different and some have different priorities in terms of getting things in over others, but we're going to take you through the standard process in this call. So what I'm going to do now is kind of kick it off to Jordan Gregory, who is going to talk to you more about how we get data into the system, how we get your data into the system, and how we validate it, make sure it's correct and it's working well, so we can accomplish all of the features that Walt and Ellie are going to talk to later on. But just a reminder, we are a very human technology company. You're not just dealing with a bunch of help desk people in the background. We're constantly engaging with your workflow to make sure that everything is integrated well into our system, and we're improving your life, not making it a hindrance. So I'm going to kick it off to Jordan. Jordan, take it away.
Great, thank you, Dylan. So the data services team is responsible really for implementation and data integration. And as Dylan mentioned, we have processes to handle all of this, and we do work with you very closely. What we're looking at right now on the screen is actually, I think we were going to go over to the loan history. So this is a loan history screen, and this is one of the what we're looking at is the loan history screen, and it's one of the end results of a successful data services implementation. So what we're doing is our goal is to get different pieces of data into RealINSIGHT. How we achieve this is through a process that we break down into a few tasks. The first of which is we identify your data. So we work closely with you to take an inventory of your data repositories, whether they are spreadsheets, custom databases, or systems that you might host yourself, such as Midland Enterprise, FICS, or a host of systems that, as Dan mentioned, we have extensive knowledge and expertise in integrating into our system. So regardless of where that data is coming from, we worked directly with you or even directly with the servicers hosting that data to facilitate the secure transfer of that data from their system or from your system over into our system. And maybe we aggregate multiple systems while we do this as well. It's a very dynamic process. And again, we work very closely with you to meet your needs depending on the specific characteristics of your data. So once we have your data, we perform a data mapping process where we work with you again to tie in the data points from your system or multiple systems into the RealINSIGHT platform. So we leverage a proprietary data integrator module, which resides within RealINSIGHT. And this allows detailed control of the data map. And this allows us to perform translation of custom fields, fully automated data loading jobs, all kinds of very useful tools. So whether you are doing a one-time data migration over to RealINSIGHT or you require daily updates from your systems or even from a third-party system via an API, we're able to be flexible and to meet your needs. Throughout this process, we use robust reporting systems to perform quality control over the data because we want to ensure that the data is loaded properly and the integrity is kept throughout the process. After we have loaded the data into the platform to make it useful, we get you working with our client training and configuration team, which is headed up by Elia Santos. So I'll turn the time over to her to talk a little bit about that.
Great, thanks, Jordan. So as we start onboarding, I get with the users, and we start training sessions to get familiar with RealINSIGHT, navigate where screens are, what it means, and we start defining what the roles are because everyone's going to do different things, and we start configuring and kind of customizing the homepage here. So we go through alerts, anything that's critical, what do you want to take action upon, those things, we learn how to do that. And as you log in, these are the action items that you want to take that are important to you, they're assigned to you as a role. Approvals, the same concept, we go through the same thing. And then as we go through this and learn how to configure it, we get to reminders, we set those up through the calendars, and we go through all of the different little pieces and setup parts that go along with it. Then the dashboards, which is probably the majority of the time where people will be spending their time, is how to monitor what the roles and what people are supposed to do and take action upon. So this one is an example of covenants, things that are going on, what's due, what's past due. And as we go through these are the things that we can drill down into and kind of monitor where things are and what is happening across the platform for everyone or specific users. And again, those can be defined as roles. So then, when we go through that, Dylan kind of had mentioned, we define and go through the workflow. So in the workflows, this is where, as you are, a process gets triggered, a series of things need to happen, and you're responsible for certain things. So an easy way to attack and tackle your assignment or your action item, this is a way to keep track of that and know what's like your to-do list that you can keep track of. So as you go through your list of items to do, you can check them off, and then it off your list so that way you can move on to the next. So a lot of those things get customized, and depending on the process that you have, we can set them up here. We can have different things going on at the same time. And then, lastly, on the workbench, these are just ways that as you go deal with this item, we have a list view that get customized based on what you want to see. It makes it simple for you to make edits as well, so you can have all of the fields and data points that are critical, and you kind of make the changes here. And it's a way to navigate, get to it all in one place. So our training sessions, we compartmentalize, we drill down, put them into small bites, and then customize this whole thing so it's relevant to you in the process that you're dealing with. So those are the things that we do. And then I'll kick it off to Walt that kind of will put all of this together.
Thank you, Elia. Okay, so we've heard a little bit about sort of the how process. So we're gonna, do some interviews. We're gonna figure out your business. We're gonna figure out your data. We're gonna figure out what's important to you and how you care about it. The process that Elia is describing is giving you the tools effectively to then take what you care about and manage it effectively. So through dashboards and analytics in these back pieces here. These are, easy to use visual indicators of things that I potentially need to care about. So a lot of the ways that we set up, for instance, dashboards and analytics are management by exception. So things that I need to care about are things that need to go on dashboards, and the way that I need to know that I need to care about them is through visual indicators. So to tie all of this together is really the why are we doing all of this, right? Why do we have to be so thoughtful about how we put our data in and structure it? Why do we have to be so thoughtful about the tools that we put in our toolbox in order to manage our assets effectively? And the big part is we're in the age of big data, right? Just having the data in spreadsheets and just having the data at your fingertips now isn't quite good enough. You actually have to understand it. You have to ask robust questions of that data. You have to have a complete understanding in order to know what to do. So the beauty of RealINSIGHT is to be able to give you the tools to ask those questions. So I'm going to kick off a job here, and we're going to generate out a model. And I'm going to talk while this guy generates and then loads here. Okay, so we've got this huge pool of data. We need to be able to sift through it. We need to be able to understand it. We need to be able to interact with it in meaningful ways. And we need to take from it analysis that makes sense and actionable items that we can actually, do things to meaningfully interact with our data here. So modeling is our process of extracting data from the system, generally speaking. We can do it in a few different ways. We can pull out data in big tables. We can pull out data completely freeform. But as you saw in the reportable field, in the loan payment history screen, anything on screen, any piece of data that you have is a reportable piece of data. So we can pull that into a model. So models are really the way to say, we are unique. I have a special sauce. The way that I show my data is unique to our company, our situation, our business, our industry, our whatever. How are we going to take our secret stuff, put it in the system, get our data in the system, and have it give it back to us in the same style, in the same feel, and something that we recognize, right? Because again, change is a big disruption for a lot of people, and being able to get stuff back or receive deliverables back in formats that make sense and are easy to digest is critical. So modeling is our process to do that. So say you have a quarterly asset or a monthly asset review that you need to do, and you need to produce an investment or an ASR of some sort or QAR of some sort that just gives you the details of the deal that you're dealing with. In this particular instance, we've got an ASR on screen, and this is one that we build as sort of our generic, if you've got nothing to start from, here's where you can start. So we build our models to an industry standard effectively. They're fully dynamic and fully automated. The white screen that you saw at the beginning was a bunch of macros running to clean things up and show things. But everything that you're seeing is live data coming out of the system. So we see in our capital structure system, we've got 3 pieces of debt. We've got a few owners for each of those pieces of debt, and we've got metrics and interesting information about those owners. So we have an ownership view of our capital structure here. All of this data is straight out of the system every time you generate. And the important part is anyone can push that button and generate this model. Once you set them up correctly, you are thoughtful about your data structure. You're thoughtful about how your data gets into the book. means that I can reliably produce outputs and deliverables that make sense, that are easy to digest, and that anyone can produce with the push of a button. So in this modeling effort, there's various ways that you can interact with the system, right? You can start, jumping in to the deep end right away, building models from scratch, or you can be trained alongside my colleagues here to look at existing models and say, actually, well, we don't want our borrower status here. We want a sponsor guarantor status here. And so we'll teach you to go in and make small edits to models. A lot of this comes from taking apart other people's models and putting them back together enough to be able to kind of speak with expertise about this. But what we help you do is when you present us with your ASR, your secret sauce, your style and feel, we'll help you take it apart and make it modular. And that's the first step, is creating sort of flexibility without variability is kind of the goal here. We'll help you redesign if you need to redesign it. So in some cases, we will make things more modular or keep it the exact same depending on your needs. We can help you rebuild it. So we have pretty extensive data processing engines that will take a few lines of data and produce you nice outputs that we can obviously slot into models or build for you or teach you how to build. But the important thing is all of this is logic, all of it is math, all of it is unique to you. So for every instance that you guys want to tweak those things, you now have the tools. For every instance that you want to say, oh, but I want to see a slightly different output on this particular loan sheet because we have 3 loans, we have 3 loan sheets. On this particular loan sheets, maybe I want to see a different set of key metrics up here. Modeling is kind of your tool to say the system is holding my data, but the model is holding sort of the future. The model is holding my imagination. Whatever I can think up, whatever I can dream up out of the system, as long as I can pull it in, I can create it with a model. So hopefully that puts things into kind of a complete perspective of, as long as you are thoughtful about the data in and you are thoughtful about the structure of the tools that you're putting together with our team, the models are really the pearl in the oyster. These are the cherry on top. Whatever you can dream up, you can do it. So with that, Dan, do you have any closing words for us?
Well, I appreciate that, Walt, and I think that what you're showing here and what you're showing here what the work Dylan does, the work Jordan does, the work Elliot does. This is the output. This is the use of it. This is the the flexibility that allows us to say, take this system, take our out-of-the-box dashboards, workflow, report, standard processes and procedures that we have built up over, I know Scott will say 25 years, over a long period of time. And then we will work with you, we will support you, but also teach you to be self-sufficient, to make changes to the system, add any data point, create any dashboard, take on any type of security customization or administrative customization, or it's really the best of both. Is the customizable technology, but something to work off of, something very strong to work off of that can handle, and this is what you don't see that often, handle every property type, every debt structure, really any data point that you could imagine across a very complicated, commercial real estate world where things are constantly changing, and things are changing right now. So I thought that was fantastic. I appreciate it. My thought with all of this is that a really good way, as you view more webinars, as you see demos, as you continue to hear from us, is we would love the opportunity at some point to give everybody a trial access of our environment, or start getting used to our team. If this is something that people have been thinking about, have been talking about, if they had a system that didn't work for them, or if there was something that was built that they didn't ask for and now they have it, we would love the opportunity to have those conversations, have you get used to our team, start seeing some of your own data and your own, loans, properties in the system. We'd love to, work with you on that. And, we appreciate everybody's time today. as we talked about at the beginning, we are going to be doing some, I guess you can call it breakout sessions, question and answer sessions. You could always reach out to us. I know you've received emails from Frank. You've seen emails from myself. We'll make sure that we share contact information, but reach out, and then we will be following up with a question and answer session tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern time. So that was our presentation. We appreciate everybody's time, and we look forward to speaking with all of you very shortly. Thank you, everybody.